Hello everyone and welcome back to ESA Winter 2021. We are raising money for Alzheimer Funding and you may find all the links to donate below the stream. We also really would like to thank our sponsors including Koei Tecmo Europe and specifically thank for their Neo 2 The Complete Edition recent release, Twitch and ViewSonic for sponsoring this event. Now, before we just get started with this DMC4 run that is just about to start, there was a bit war, and regarding the campaign choice, and it was between Nero / Dante or Virgil, and I am very happy to say that Dante won the bid war. So thank you everyone for all your donations, because it was very tight. It was just next to Virgil at $135. But with that said, I'll let you take it away now.
Who asked for more Devil May Cry on SA? Well, I did! So, yeah, hello and welcome. Well, pretty much that's why I'm here for. So, Devil May Cry 2 Part 2, Part 4, Electric Boogaloo. So we're gonna just quickly show something. So we turned this thing off because it makes the game faster. We turn this thing off on because it makes the game even faster. And we play on a real gaming machine called keyboard. So our keyboard is very good. It's RGB one, yeah, and you see we are not using this like dual sock garbage. So I shouldn't be probably doing that. I don't care. We are playing on the keyboard. So, because we are playing Nero Dante and we are actually pretty good on this run, I'm ready to go. So 3, 2, 1, start the timer. So, welcome to the evening of Sonic Distraction. You're gonna have a good time with me, I can assure you. So let's start off with a couple of basic things. Like, you know, just something we can start off. We'll start by beating just a no-name person with a red code, because he obviously looks bad. So yeah, our character Nero has a couple of interesting things that I'm gonna talk about later in the run, but for now on what you gotta know is that he has an arm. Yeah. Sure. Let's do it this way. So yeah, our character Nero has plenty of tools, you know. So these tools are divided by the tools that can save some time and some tools that can lose some time. What's important is that every single mission that we clear has, well, you know, some interesting details called ratings. And by clearing the games, clearing the missions without getting hit, collecting enough orbs, or just going fast, will award us with some currency called Proud Souls. We use Proud Souls to get our character stronger and stronger and stronger until the point of no return, and we use rail orbs that we collect by killing the enemies, etc., by just playing well. So in other words, we are playing well, we get a lot of money, we play poorly, we don't get a lot of money. Both of these things can be fixed by playing the game well, so yeah, you can figure that out. So, right now, what you gotta know is this is Mission 2. Mission 2 is, it's well known by having a couple of interesting details. In example, we're doing a couple of interesting stops here and there, but those setups are so genuine and unique that they are happening without you even noticing. Because all the things in this run, compared to the other speedruns that you might have saw at ESA or like somewhere else, they're slightly different from the Devil May Cry 4 one. Because, for example, majority of the things that I'll be doing in this run, they're just, you know, they're happening off the screen. And there is no way I can explain that without going on a rampage of words and murdering the game by words. So yeah. So right now what you gotta know about the game is that we're just killing some enemies. We're killing enemies in a specific way, so we're using an attack called Buster. Buster is a very slow but very powerful attack that deals a lot of damage. but leaves us vulnerable during the animation. And we gotta clear this mission without getting hit. So every single time I'm using Buster attack, I'm pretty much leaving myself for a trouble. But because we are manipulating AI in a way that AI will not attack us, this will not create any possible disturbance for us. So then I'm hitting the enemies with my sword called Red Queen. Red Queen in this round has a very special place, and we're just using this sword, well, for pretty much first half of the game. And at the second half, we're gonna play a slightly different game, called Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. But right now we're just playing, so you can ask. Me. Mech, what's coming next? Well, I can tell you what's going to happen next. We are gonna fight a fire pony! An actual fire pony, trust me on that. I am an expert Devil May Cry 4 player, so yeah. Fire pony is Colonel Burial, and he's, well, gonna bury our run early on. If I'll screw the fight up. So, it's a very easy fight for me, and it's not easy fight for everyone else. So we're gonna manipulate the Burial into doing some attacks like the spin, and then we're gonna bait him into doing just like some attack like this one. By hitting his head or like his frontal body, we're dealing like slightly more damage. I can tell you how exactly much damage we're doing, so yeah. Doing a buster so we can stun the boss into the second stagger animation, and here we're doing a very interesting air mechanic. We're shooting charge shot and then we're jumping away by using our charge shot. Then we're gonna do a taunt. Taunt makes the boss go crazy, and then we can set up the kill for a very easy fight for us. Hitting the Burial in the air and combining your exceeded attacks and non-exceeded ones is a very interesting thing in the run, and I'm gonna tell you why in like a couple of minutes. So we're getting a no damage mission 2, and we're getting SS rank on Burial kill, which rewards us with slightly more Prowl Souls and Red Orbs in advance. So because of that, we're getting a lot more currency, a lot more Boldiage, and most importantly, we are not resetting this run! Yeah. So, let's talk about the character a little bit. So our character is actually a pretty interesting character. Because our character is actually able to fly. You know, in other speedruns, you need glitches to fly, and this run is pretty much, I won't say it's like all glitchless, but it's pretty much glitchless. What's considered glitch or not, you can ask other people, because I think this run is pretty much glitchless, but still. This character can fly. He can fly because his sword is actually a motorcycle, but it's not a motorcycle. Well, you can interpret that as you will, because I'm gonna just tell you how he's able to fly in like a couple of rules. What you need to know though is that we're gonna fight a new type of enemies called Frost. So, by rotating your camera in a very precise angle, we can just make sure that these enemies will not attack us in a pretty nasty way. So here I'm gonna do just a quick couple combos, calling the orbs here, because I actually need a couple of like safe jump, maybe like 1,000 or so to make this run like go absolutely wild crazy. So yeah, mandatory reminder that this run is 18 plus. Please keep your kids away, because if your kids will see this run, they'll use their inertia and momentum to just fly. Oh yeah, speaking of inertia. This game has a pretty interesting physics engine, but that physics engine is partially fueled by the gravity. So yeah, every single time we're trying to attack someone in the air, can I shoot you? Thank you. Our gravity gets increased by, well, a small amount. That small amount might not be noticeable at first, but once you do a couple of hits, it's very important to know that, well, your gravity is very big. So, remember I talked about inertia. Let me show you. Let's do a streak, then use our charge shot in the opposite direction so we convert the inertia by doing regular sword slashes in the air while following the rhythm of our charge shot, while synchronizing with a specific rhythm that exists here and there to skip that amazing section that absolutely horrified everybody that played this game casually or semi-casually. This skip originally was called Helicopter Strat. It was found by Skyviren here on the game in mid-2017, and his run is actually pretty good. Yeah. He's the one that made a lot of changes to the route back in the days. And right now it's, well, it's basically his skip. His something new that he brought into the game. So yeah, Skyviren is cool, this skip's cool, you can do it like in a couple of hours, doesn't matter. What matters is, this is holy water. You know, usually we use holy water to cleanse demons, but we use holy water to just to do a couple of cool things. So yeah, here is the gallery. We're using shot shots in a very specific, let's say, order. So there is a general rule of thumb. How do we use holy water? Or like charge shot. It's like pretty much the same things in this run. So we want to use holy waters or charge shots when there is either a lot of high HP enemy that we cannot kill, or we want to focus the strongest enemy, like Blitz. So that's why we're gonna use charge shots or something else later in the round. So yeah, here is the Angelos. They have a cool soundtrack. So yeah. And we're just trying to combine our exceeded hits with our non-exceeded hits to stop a set of quick events. Wow, 120 FPS moment. So yeah, we're just trying to combine our exceeded attacks and non-exceeded attacks to just make the run slightly better. You might have noticed already that I'm clearing all of missions without getting hit. Well, because I'm good at this game, actually. But exceeded hits are a part of mechanic that takes a long explanation, and because this mission is a little bit ugly in terms of great design, you know, I'm just gonna take my time explaining this entire mechanic before we get to the boss. So exceeds are a core element in Nero's gameplay. It allows you to deal more damage, it allows the hits to be more fast, more precise. Basically you increase the damage, the speed, and the stun values of your every hit you do. So there is a very interesting bar at the... what the heck? Okay, this is working. So there is a bar at the top left, which indicates how much charges do we have. While you're not manually charging, or unless you have a max act, you can, charge only one gauge of exceeds. And your non-command moves, so your regular attacks that we're going to be using in like majority of this run's time, will be exceeded to attacks with your sword. And the command attacks like Streak, Caliber, Split, these are called command attacks. And if you have more than one charge of exceed, the next command attack that you'll be using, it will just consume your stacks and just like, well, whatever. You can exceed every single attack that you're doing as Nero with like a couple of exceptions, like Combo B. And then, again, it's a mandatory tool that you have to use flawlessly throughout the entire run. There are a couple of exceptions where your exceeded attacks are slightly slower, because sometimes, just sometimes, not always, remember that, your exceeded attacks are going to make... what the heck are you doing? Well, we just got hit. This happens. So yeah, in a couple of cases, your exceeded attacks or non-exceeded attacks, they'll be either faster or slower, depending on the situation. And because there's a lot of situations that can happen in this run, let's say, I would like to explain you all of the situations in the run, but it will take me like around 8 hours, and I only have one, so sorry about that. So yeah, exceeds are very important, and throughout the run you'll see me pretty much exceeding either every single hit that I'm gonna do, or like nearly every single hit that I'm gonna do. Exceeded attacks takes quite a lot of skill, and again, this is something that's gonna happen every single time throughout the run, at least like for the first half. So setting up this gyro blade for a good bounce. I'm not talking about gyro blades because gyro blades are bad in this game. Basically, these are, well, a tumbachka, learn Russian with mecha, tumbachka. It's a table, pretty much. That auto-locks onto the enemies, and it's not good. Not good at all. So let's fight some frogs, you know? Just some casual frogs. But before that, let's hit some rusalkas. So we're just setting up the frog for a good cycle. We have to roll from this specific attack, and we have to get a nice breath attack, this one. So from this one, because we set up the boss correctly, we can just proceed and get a quick kill. So shooting up charge shot against the... Oh my god, one time FPS glitch again? Happens. So yeah, using your charge shots and your attacks in general against the mouth of this beautiful enemy will just disintegrate this enemy into nothing. Yeah, strong run. So yeah, pretty much that's the basics of this run for you. You don't want to get hit, that's the first one. You want to exceed as much attacks as possible, that's the second one. And the third important point, you want to adapt to the situations. The most, let's say, the most interesting thing about this run is not the skips or like glitches that we are gonna do in general. It's the ability of the runners to adapt to the situation. So every single run, no matter if the runner is good or not, is gonna be unique, you know? Like, absolutely unique. Because the game is a little bit, I won't say heavily based on RNG, despite like a couple of people might say it's like, it's very RNG heavy game. I would say it's a game with some RNG that makes this run slightly better, but there is also a couple of RNG moments that makes this run a lot worse, like this one. By using our inertia from charge shot, we are able to just grab this volleyball without backtracking. Setting up a very quick kill on these new enemies called Fausts or like Mephistos, doesn't matter. So yeah, a lot of this run has been heavily routed by, well, you know, by one person. Doesn't matter. And that one person, well, is a pretty handsome guy, you know. So yeah, right now we're just gonna finish this run, like so fast that you won't be even noticing. Nice. And as you can see, I'm trying to manage my kills at a very interesting pace. So we can get like both of the kills at the relatively fast pace, like this one. Nice. And by balancing the charge shots of the enemies that I've just done, with the cycles that we could have probably done, we are just basically not trying to adapt to the perfect case scenarios, because perfect case scenarios are probably the easiest way to tell everyone that you suck at this game in general. And as I said earlier, this run is more about adapting, and the true, let's say, amount of skill that the runner has is measured not by the time saves or the time loss, but instead by how you adapt to these situations. In example, in the last room I didn't have a good RNG, but I managed to get a no damage, and I managed to get a good fight. I got this mission in a very good pace, yeah. So, as you can see, adapting in this run has a very interesting place. And we're gonna see more of the adapting later into the run. And now, I would like to welcome you into the game room, or like Mission 6. Mission 6 is notoriously known for having fishes. This one's... You can easily knock up fishes by doing a very precise setup here and there. Sometimes it will knock all three fishes at the same time, because their hitboxes will overlap at top of each other, and using your charge of 3 will do something called Devil Shot, or like Martin Shot, or like 18 plus shot. But in general, the cycle I've just used is pretty consistent. So yeah, here is the dice game. If you didn't know, hitting the top of the cube with the number at the top will always give you that same number. And we just gotta get a good amount of numbers here and there. We have to get a cycle called 22664. The dice always starts with a 4 and goes like this. 4, 2, 6, 3, 5, 1, etc. So, because we know the cycles and because we know the pattern, we can easily rig the game in our favor without fighting extra stuff here and there. And following that beautiful game that everyone likes, we are gonna fight a window. You know, just a casual window, doesn't matter. So yeah, welcome to the Agnes boss fight, also known as the Urizen from the Mekarazium 5 prototype. We have to throw the swords against the window, and here's the part where the game gets quite infuriating, because the damage we deal by these blades is based on the FPS that I have in my top left corner. So for this round you either can have 120 FPS, which makes IGT timer go as usual, and there is 60 FPS limit. That makes this fight much better, because your swords deal much more damage. So, for those who don't know the damage values, let me just tell you just the difference between each of... Nah, I got hit. So, in 120 FPS you deal, on average, from 400 to 600 damage every single time you hit, you throw your sword. On 60 FPS, on every sword throw you deal around 800 to 600 damage. And, again, you can see the difference. So in a good run, you will get well, somewhat decent amount of throws, and this will result you a good stuff, a good run, a good something. If you get the bad rolls, you can easily lose up to 30 seconds of this run in this specific mission, because this mission is a run killer. Nobody likes run killers. So we just received the Dale trigger warning, by the way. Dale Trigger is a very interesting tool that we're going to be using throughout the run. And one of the first appliances of the Dale Trigger is a knock-up tool. We can knock the enemies up in the air, just stun them like this, because our Dale Trigger just stuns all the enemies around. We can fill up our Dale Trigger gauge by either taunting, dodging, or just dealing a lot of damage to the enemies, like this. And using Dale Trigger allows us to deal even more damage. And in case of Nero, the character we're playing right now, it also allows us to be invulnerable just for a couple of frames. We're gonna use that quite often in the run, as I said earlier. I would like to set up a good Dale Trigger activation like this, because the attack called Roulette Spin, the one I'm using here right now, can easily kill these enemies. I'm getting memed this time around, not a good run. Still, so yeah, as you can see, we're just getting here and there with as much memes as we probably could, because this game is so awesome and you should all play it, or like, you know, just multi-J in general. So because we're gonna be backtracking, well, for like a minute, I think it's a good time to let my throat just rest a little bit, and my donation comrade Reader to just read some donations.
Hello there, and indeed, perfect timing, because we've got quite a few donations to read here. First off, we've got $5 from Door3K without a comment, so thank you. We've got $25 from ESJ, talking about one of the previous runs we had just earlier, saying, amazing Doohoo 12.8 run, which, as I said, was one of the amazing previous runs we just had. We also have $35 from Hollywood, saying, Virgil needs to get motivated. And as you may guess, that was for the previous Blade War for this current run at the very beginning. On that note, we also have a $40 donation from NARP, saying, now I'm motivated to donate. And indeed you are right to do so. And finally, we have a $5 donation from Dolphin, saying, hello ESA, I like this run, but I wonder, can this streamer sing one of the Devil May Cry songs, like Shall Never Surrender or Devils Never Cry?
Well, you know, if I'll start singing, you'll die from the cringe, but if you want it, then you'll get it. But first we gotta go slow. You know, this is not a speedrun.
Donations.
This is not a speedrun, you know? This is not a speedrun, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. This is a slow run, we are just doing, like, you know... I don't need this. We're just doing, you know, an exhibition, because, you know, I don't have a run on the board, so, like, I just look at the world record, and I just thought that I could run this game, like, pretty well, and I think I'm pretty good, you know, for this game, so yeah. In the world record, they turned off the turbo, and I have no idea why they're doing that, so I thought that I should do that as well. So yeah, let's grab this holy water. And then let's do a thing called reversal. So by buffering our streak in the... Well, yeah, reversal is a little bit tricky to explain. So by buffering our streak at the very end of the previous previous attack, we can buffer pretty much all the directed moves to go into the opposite direction. Basically, we can switch the direction of every move that can go forward. So instead of it just going forward, we can rotate it like backwards, an example. I can give you a couple of examples later into the round, but for now, let's just play the game like, you know, as usual, you know. So, yeah. I'm just playing the game as usual, nothing's happening. Absolutely nothing happens in this round. So, oh yeah, we are at the end. Good. So yeah, this is called Mission 7 Skip. It was originally found by a runner called Lost Feather for Virgil. And not that far ago, a runner called Martin Time from Russia found a version for the Nero. So yeah, to do the skip we have to turn off the turbo, and we have to do a very precise snatch here and there. That would make game, like, just a little bit confused about our life decisions, and just let us pass through. So yeah, this is Echidna, we're fighting her because we need her to die. We're setting up a very interesting way of killing her. So by doing quick hits and stunning her, prepare for the mash. So we have to get a very good mashing session here and there, because the harder you mash your exceed button, the more damage you deal by your buster, especially if it's Del triggered one. So by just like doing this thing, we can like smash her to pieces, like this. Oh, so yeah, because we got a very good mission 7. We can go back to the options, and because we cleared the one and only mission without getting hit, we can turn the turbo back on, because, well, like, we want to go fast. Like, nay, I don't want to end the patok. So yeah, one of the interesting things about the routes in this game is that routes in this game, the ones that I've made, are very based off how well you perform in a run. So, an example, if you perform a run on a very decent pace, and if you clear all of missions without getting hit, as you remember, not getting hit in the missions rewards with more currency. We can use the stored currency to get an interesting attack called Showdown. Showdown is a very powerful attack that deals a lot of damage. Wait a second. Yeah, that's good. And we're gonna buy it, because we played the round pretty well. So, but first of all, let's fight some assaults. Get this white orb here. This assault can block our attacks. This does not matter for us. Unlucky. Don't hit me. Hit me. So yeah, as you can see, a couple of assaults just decided to troll me over, so I just made them not laugh at all. So yeah, by buying Showdown, we are easily making a next boss fight much easier, or much harder, depends on how you look at it. So yeah, we're slightly backtracking here and there, but I promise we are not actually backtracking, because there is a location we can visit now, called Lost Woods. So Lost Woods is a puzzle section, just a little bit one, and a lot of casual players don't have an idea how to clear it. Well, here's the thing. You see there is a shadow from the pillar at the center. So the shadow looks at the left, so that's why we have to go to the right. So you have to go against the shadow of that pillar. So you see there is a shadow at the right, so that's why we're going to the left. So yeah, that's how you clear the puzzle in this game. Like, makes a lot of sense. So, we're slowly coming to the boss fight, and thankfully there is a statue that we can use to buy some things. If you play poorly in a run, you will not be able to buy a Showdown, and because I got hit on mission 4, which is one of the main missions to get money to get Showdown, we have to sell Split and Caliber, because One of the interesting parts of this game is that you can sell your previously bought abilities to buy other abilities. And now I'm just gonna be a little bit silent to just concentrate a little bit while you have a very good boss fight. Don't like this, let's try. Okay, that's the first showdown done. One attack. First shot. We have to taunt this boss to get slightly more damage trigger. Not gonna work. Because I was too close and it just wasn't like an optimal position to do a showdown on. So now the boss is gonna just troll a little bit because he's tired of me hitting him. And then we're gonna clean this fight by just doing our regular 1-2-3s with a couple of sticks to secure the boss doesn't do any meme stuff. That's why we're gonna get a very good style rank for this boss. And a very, well, quite a quick kill. Not like some minor screw-ups. So yeah. So we're coming to the part of the game which heavily relies on some, you know, spherical objects that can be found in this game. Like, you know, just a couple of bowls. So, you know, bowls is a very important thing in this round. So because I like balls and everything that involves balls, we're gonna make sure that we get balls. So give me the ball, 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 give me the ball. We get the ball. Nice balls. Nice. So yeah, we need to get this ball because this ball instantly kills these Angelos, and there is no way you can like manipulate properly these enemies. But the theory I have is that, well, you can just make sure that this ball happens if you just make sure that this guy just gets out of the range of your... Wait, what? Yo, give me the ball. It's not a ball, it's a distant attack. So, shoot a charge shot, knock this guy in the air, do a couple of resting moves because everyone likes it. Nice. So, Key of Chronos. We're gonna use this thing a little bit. It's key item. It's good. So yeah, there's also a hidden cache over here that we can grab, like without any problems. That's fine. So by hitting this wheel, we can do something cool. And now I'm gonna show you something new. Well, kind of new. So you see, Nero can fly. We already knew that. But do you know that we can do a couple of more things, you know. So by chaining these moves in a very precise manner, we can do this. So charge up our sword to the max, set up a very interesting kill. I mean, that's max up. So throw this guy in the air and just finish him in the air. Don't forget to taunt dead bodies because they gave you slightly more damage trigger. And that's a very good first fight. So knowing the laser pattern, we can easily go straight line over here. And then there is a couple of more assaults. Let's wait for a little bit. Then do this and that. Then turn off the trigger because we need that as well. A couple of roulette spins or like just regular attacks can be a great service for us. Throw this guy in the air or just make sure he goes in the air and just kill him. Make sure you taunt this guy because we need full damage trigger for the next boss. So you might have guessed, who is the next boss? Next boss is the Agnes, also known as the guy with the swords. So we can utilize one of the properties of our Del Trigger that allows us to just dodge things here and there to make sure that his first hit with the swords never hit us. And we use that invulnerability frames that we get from the activation of the Del Trigger to make sure that we get like a optimal cycle for this boss. Can you not do that? Yeah, I'm exceeding quite poorly, I would say, for today, but this is fine. So, this mission wasn't too good, wasn't too great. This was okay, I think. So, In Mission 10, we're gonna do a couple of interesting things. A lot of these things are AI manipulations, and a lot of these things are actually hard to perform. What the heck? Okay, let's do it in this way. So we're buying Maxac. So every time you want to exceed, you have to hit a specific window that exists on every single attack. This window is around from 1 to 6 frames. Nice. And in some cases, well, you see, max acting the enemies is a good idea. Yo, can I do this? Do this? Fine. So yeah, the way max act works is that whenever you hit exceed at the very first possible frame, you can exceed your attack. Well, that will fill your exceed gauge to the top. In other words, if you hit a frame perfect attack and you get a frame perfect charge, you get 3 gauges of your exceed instead of 1, which helps you a little bit on the boss fights, and it doesn't really help you at the general fights, because as I said earlier, general fights don't use that much of the exceed gauge, because you only like need 1. And like for small movement parts, you can just use max act streak to just go fast in like some dollars. So yeah, moving forwards, there is a skip coming that I found a couple of years ago. It's a very interesting skip because it utilizes your inertia and it utilizes a very interesting camera positioning to make sure that everything goes according to plan. We need the max act to get higher roller level 3, and then we do this. Nice! We got the skip first try. The skip is not that hard, trust me. But failing the skip loses like around a minute, so you would really want to get the skip done like first try. Trust me. So, moving forward, we're gonna be fighting a couple of enemies here, but we're gonna be fighting them not with our swords. We're just gonna dodge an attack, use Holy Water because Holy Water is actually quite useful here. Start charging up our sword, I don't need this actually, and fight a guy that we knew already. This is not a good pattern, I don't like it. Okay, let's do it the other way around. 1, 2, snatch, and then 1 more. So yeah, I just tried to manipulate the pattern Dante could give me, but I didn't got the perfect cycle. So yeah, it's still a good Dante fight, you know. So yeah. And now we're coming to the mission number 11. Mission number 11 is a very interesting mission, because in this mission I'm gonna show you something cool. Trust me, like, this skip loses time in a real run. But for the sake of the marathon, this is like a pretty interesting skip, you know. So yeah, because we don't have max act now, we have to just charge our sword manually. Come over this stairs, use your high roller. I messed up my timings, sorry. So yeah. Like this, nice. So then we're just gonna come here, activate the puzzle, grab the scarecrow. You might be thinking, well, what the heck this Russian guy is doing? I'm gonna show you something. Accidentally shot. This happens. I'm gonna explain how the skip works, like, just in a while. So yeah, we just skipped a whole big segment. So the way the skip works is, there is a technique called jump cancelling in the Mekarazium series. By doing jump cancels, we can cancel our jumps, our gravity, and a couple of other things related to this game. Give me the ball, 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 give me the ball. Это не шарп, so. Give me the ball, 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 give me the ball! The ball, please! Ball! Thank you. So yeah, this ball is pretty important. It saves a track ton of time. And because of this wall, we have a lot of Del Sugar, and this is why we are able to do a interesting thing. So let's charge our soul to the maximum, because we're gonna fight Sanctus. Let me fight a little bit, concentrate on fight a little bit. This might be a problem, I think. So yeah, by mashing we can get a lot of damage, and I'm not going to get it. Yeah. Should have waited just for a little bit. Okay, happens. I went just a little bit too fast. Let's stop this guy from doing such shit. Yeah, let's parry the hand. Nice. So throw this guy into the air, do one roulette. Actually, we'll do two just for the safety reasons. And this is it. So yeah, prepare for the time because the run ends like in a couple of seconds. Time! Congratulations! We've beaten Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. It was nice knowing ya. Goodbye. Well, actually, you know, this is actually only the first part of the run, and we have the second one to clear. So yeah, in Mission 12, we are getting control of another character called Dante. Hija de Sparda, our beautiful comrade. So yeah, what?
Would now be a good time for a couple donations?
No, not yet, because I have to introduce this beautiful new character that we are gonna play for the second part of the run, so just a little bit later. So yeah, so Dante has a completely different playstyle. Nah, I played badly. Compared to Nero. So imagine this as playing a new character. So yeah, this is a new character. So what Dante can provide to our better entertainment? So first of all, he has a very handsome guy on his jacket, like his coat. No idea who that is. But first let's clear the zone with a flamer, because clearing these enemies without having proper weapon is a little bit too long. So, yeah. So there is a skip, just a little one, pretty casual one. Just do a double jump into a couple of other things. So yeah, Dante has an access to the 4 styles he has. He has Trickster style, Swordmaster style, Gunslinger style, and Roller Guard style. All of those 4 styles will be used in this run. How? Just wait. So every single one of these styles can improve our, let's say, one amount, let's say, one set of okay, it can improve the way we play the game. So Trickster style increases mobility, Swordmaster increases the amount of attacks we can do with our melee weapons, and Gunslinger, well, it's pretty much the Swordmaster but with the but for guns, and for guns we're gonna use it for, well, and well, Royal Guard is, well, you know the style of Royal Guard, right? Это шутишь. Can I? Okay. I nearly choked it. So yeah, Royal Guard allows you to just block some meme attacks. Usually it works, sometimes it doesn't. These releases are very precise to the timings, so Royal Guard in this game is much weaker than the Mekarazium 3-1. So yeah, we're not gonna seeing much of this style anymore. And let's manipulate the Angelus. Can I stop losing frames? And can I just... Can I get your balls in? Give me your balls. Thank you for your balls. Well, fine. You might think this is really bad, but fear not. This was actually a keikaku. To prolong the run as much as possible. This is fine. This is absolutely fine. My provider is not fine. My provider is actually a... Look, my dear provider, can you not eat my frames? So, yeah, thank you. So, yeah, because in this location, the checkpoints are a little bit messed up, and my frames are... Okay, let me just wait a little bit until my frames are back. You can read some donations now, because I'm gonna be backtracking pretty much.
Alright. In that case, I can say, first off, we've got $50 from Sarda without a comment, but this donation goes towards the final photo character of Prompto for the Final Fantasy 15 run. So thank you very much for your $50. And secondly, we've also got $5.50 from Lusu, saying, "This DMC4 run is the greatest one I've seen. Big props to Mekarazium, and I think to your biggest pleasure, this donation went towards the language choice of Russian for the Jack 3 Hondo run that will be right after this. And I think this is definitely in your favor." Well, thank you everyone for your donations. We definitely really appreciate them. And plus, we are less than $1,000 away from reaching the same amount as we got back in winter 2018. So let's see if we can reach it anytime soon.
So yeah, I can explain why I died there. It's because, you know, Devil May Cry games are all about the style. What kind of style I can give to the viewers of this beautiful marathon, to viewers of this beautiful game? Что я делаю? Нихера делаю. So yeah, if you want style, correct. So yeah, let me just backtrack here for a little bit. These orbs are just for a little bit of extra safety, so like I won't fall somewhere else. So yeah, in general, what Dante has is is pretty much everything. He has a mobility, he has a couple of things. You can switch styles every time you want, during the fight, mid-fight, fast fight. Just switch it every time to show your show you APM, you know. APM is the real deal here, you know, for PvP. So yeah, while playing as Dante, we're gonna be using a couple of other techniques compared to the Nero's run. But to make these techniques, let's say, to make me introduce you those techniques, we gotta wait just a little bit of time. So, first of all, let's solve this little puzzle over here. You know this little puzzle here, my comrades? If you hold your gauntlets... wait a second. This joke's bad. Let me postpone the joke. I wanted to make it just like for a little bit. Okay. So these are Chimera Assaults, notoriously known for the best Game Awards reward. So yeah, these enemies are a pain in the ass to deal with. So let's just shoot them a little bit. Nice. So yeah, as Dante, because we don't have that much of the, let's say, of the attacks right now, because we only have like one weapon, I have to basically use my default kit with my Rebellion to make sure that everything goes well. Nej, kutta, nej. Okay, this is fine. So yeah, by doing these prop shredder combos, we can easily just shred these assaults to the death. So yeah, good. So we're backtracking here a little bit, so we can just fight just a little bit of bosses that we fought earlier. Because despite this game is half-baked, this is one of the games that, despite being flawed, are very unique games to the genre. That's what I think. Even if you want to, if we look at this game from a speedrun perspective, this game is, you know, to be honest, this game is a little bit cursed. Just a little bit. But the way this game is cursed is, well, it's gonna take me a lot of time explaining, so I'm just gonna postpone this talk for a little while. So, this is Hirdan. Let's set up her cycle. So let's sure to rape her a little bit, move a little bit backwards, be close to her and shoot her with a shotgun as much as possible. Do a quick double jump, use your devil trigger prop to just shred her to bits. Nay! 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 This is not good. So yeah, Echidna refused to get stunned. This is not good at all. This is fine. We can get her out of this state by doing a royal release. Что ты делаешь? Like this. And then we can just hit her again. Because I don't have jump cancel because I sold it accidentally, sorry. We have to just shred her a little bit like this. I'm getting memed. So yeah, shred her a little bit, just a little bit under 3 bars of HP and then use Holy Water. I got the correct setup, but I didn't got the actual good fight. This can happen in the run, this is fine. So yeah, we got a new weapon. This weapon is called Gilgamesh, and Gilgamesh is a little bit balanced, you see. So, how balanced is Gilgamesh? Well, you see, Gilgamesh is quite strong. I'm gonna show you just how it is strong on mission 15. For now on, what you need to know is that Gilgamesh is your fist's weapon. Usually fist weapon are, well, they're very slow. And they have like this like charge mechanic that's been on Devil May Cry 3 example. I got slow killed. So yeah, by charging our attacks we can deal a lot more damage, but for majority of the times we just gotta do something called just charge. So whenever we get a flash on our gauntlets, we can use this flash to just set up whatever we want. So in our case, we want to step a perfect charge. And that perfect charge that got set up can be used to multiply the damage we deal with our charge attacks that Gilgamesh has plenty of. But first of all, let me set up this fight a little bit. So roll a bit to the right, roll a little bit here, just drop down to this guy, wait until this thing pops off. This is... okay, this is fine. So as you can see, I'm setting up an attack called Straight. Straight is a, let's say, line that deals all the damage. But because Straight can be easily cancelled by all the enemies, we're trying to just adapt to the situation. Because I have two enemies very close to me, there's no need for me to use a single target attack like Straight. I could use an attack called Shock. And Shock, as an attack that can be charged, can also be just charged. So yeah, let's do a dive kick that will kill the enemy. Where's the enemy that I need to? This one's I need. Using your Devil Trigger as Dante has a lot of different... a lot of different, you know, a lot of differences compared to the Nero one. So Dante we don't get as much of invulnerability frames, but we get something called Super Armor. So that Super Armor, nah, I don't have Devil Trigger. So that Super Armor that we can get from Devil Trigger, it will allow us to block all the incoming enemy attacks until their, let's say, stun values are higher than the ones that Super Armor gives us. So yeah, let's farm a little bit here and there, and move slowly to the mission number 15. So, I said this game is a little bit cursed. That's partially true, because, you know, this round has a pretty interesting story. The story of this round goes to the, like, it starts from like 2016 when this game was like released. And the very first round of this game have been quite unoptimized in general. There wasn't, you know, that much of a speedrunning community back then. And that speedrunning community was consisted of a well-known runner called Private Cinnamon, and a couple of other runners that run DMC Devil May Cry as well. So runners that have been running back then, they weren't quite interested in this game because this game is, I won't say it's like quite optimized compared to vanilla Devil May Cry 4. But again, this game has a pretty long list of flaws. This game, well, it just runs worse than Vanilla 4. But in terms of speedrunning, this game is much better than Vanilla 4. In general. And so, in every single segment of time, no matter what kind of segment you are taking, 2016, 17, 18, 19, 2021, 2020, let's forget that year, okay. There haven't been that much either competition or too much runners running the game. And in general, you see, even if this game is a pretty okay run, while it's not like maybe a good play for the casual playthrough, because, you know, like, look at Devil May Cry 3 and the game is like much better, like, who could have thought, you know. What am I doing? Other way around, whatever. What's this? I'm getting absolutely destroyed this fight. This one. So yeah, there haven't been that much runners anytime, and you know, when I started running this game back in 2016, yeah, around 16, like 17, what I thought about is like, well, this run is good, so why nobody's running it? So I wasn't that good at the game back then, you know, because my first run of Devil May Cry 4 vanilla were around 2 hours and like 30 minutes. It was too long, and compared to the vanilla that runs like a very slow snail, this game like is a rabbit, big rabbit, and everyone likes rabbits because they are fast in general. So yeah, what I thought is, well, nobody runs this game because, well, we just don't have, you know, good optimizations and other stuff. We don't have, like, you know, a couple of things, and in general we just need someone to just do a couple of things with this run. So back then there was a person that I've mentioned earlier in this run called Skybeard. So Skybeard brought a lot of interesting additions, and he found a pretty good amount of strats with Private Cinnamon in duo. But the thing is, Skybeard ran this game until 1 hour, 18 minutes and 53 seconds. Current world record is 1 hour, 8 minutes and 53 seconds. I won't call you the name of that runner, because this runner has, let's say, this runner doesn't want to do anything else for the community in general, and, you know, that runner is, well, you know, this runner feels a little bit uncomfortable in general. So yeah. Needless to say, that runner removed all of his runs from the leaderboards and his Twitch. And, well, you know, there is a reason to that. From what I know, this runner just, well, you know, he just told me that, well, because this game never had not a good competition, but rather a set amount of people that are willing to learn the run by the notes he wrote, he considered that the watching the world record thing and just replicate the world record like meta that's been for years in speedrunning is, like, you know, is a little bit incorrect. Because, like, that person spent some time, you know, just learning how to explain things to the public, writing the notes and just trying to get a good guide just to get, like, absolutely no runners in. So yeah, that person considered his thoughts as futile, and he removed his runs with all the history that's been there. Some of you might thought like, well, removing your runs from and like your history is bad, but let's face a couple of facts. Neither of the Devil May Cry games, besides Devil May Cry 1 and Devil May Cry 3, have either decent viewership or decent following. Devil May Cry 4, despite being a very interesting run to do, is completely, let's say, I won't say it's completely ignored, but for quite some time this game was forgotten. It didn't have much runners, there was no competition, and like, you know, some of you might say, well, you know, if you want to have some competition mecha, maybe you could create some guides and like other stuff. And well, I wrote a couple of notes, nobody used them because, well, you know, watching world records is the meta. But, you know, world record, like, has this skip, and, well, you know, nobody has an idea how to perform it correctly, you know, because we have it just in the world record, and that's it, you know, just watch the world record, lol, and just try to replicate the run, and, well, you see, that's, like, the fundamental problem with this game. No matter how a person tries to, let's say, make the game pleasing for everyone else to run, just like, you know, to get some competition. Your attempts to create something that will help new people start to run the game are useless. And because of that, that specific person told me that his actions, his way of thinking about like the speedrunning in general, about the games, about the competition, has no value, because the only value that we need is to follow the meta. Watch the world record, have little to no documentation, and just try to replicate all the things that world records have, but with just like, you know, just slightly better. So yeah, and you know, back in 2017, I would say that, yeah, you know, like, that's a good idea to just replicate the world records is like a fine idea, because all I care is world records, and we don't need recognition for the people that route the game, for the glitch hunters, etc. All we need is to have a set amount of world record holders holding like I don't know, whatever world record that we have, and then just, oh my god, dude, look, I have 10 world records for the game nobody runs! So, yeah. And this is not something that I perceived speedrunning for, because, well, you know, I perceived speedrunning as a way to research games in general, to just touch the game here, touch the game there, figure out how the game works, figure out the ins and outs. So every single speed game for me was a puzzle that you have to solve. How you can solve a puzzle? Well, you can either watch the world record run that has this thing, you know, just casually just rip the boss apart, you know, just like look at the world record, you know. Or, well, you can have a decent documentation and a couple of other things. So yeah, I always thought that speedrunning has a little bit more than just physique, like just chasing world records. But from time to time, I question myself if the way I look at the games, like from the puzzle perspective, actually has a meaning behind it. Because if we'll take a look at the way speedrunning content is done in general, those games like, okay, like Devil May Cry 4, in example, it's a good speed game, you should try it out. Devil May Cry 3, insane speed game, very mechanically dependent, has plenty of other like stuff to do. Devil May Cry 5, like, maybe a couple of like glitches might pull you off, but it's still a good speed game after like all these years. Devil May Cry 1, Devil May Cry 2, all of these games, including DMC Devil May Cry, are very good speed games, but they will never get noticed by major, let's say, speedrunning content people, because all of these games have one thing in common. It's not the fact that these games are good for the speedrun, it's the fact that all of these games have like that one person that comes to the game and just grinds the game until it's over. Like until there is nothing else you can do. And so the problem with this game in particular is that I run this game for 4 years now, including vanilla one. And you know, I saw a couple of interesting things. I made some documentation. I made a tutorial tournament from Mission 1 to Mission 4, so people could get like just a little bit acquainted with the run, so they would not be afraid to try this run out. And that brought a lot of people into the boards, like Philonaut, Martin Time, Art Killer, Kurasisto that ran Devil May Cry 5 earlier. But with this tournament, I actually realized a very important thing about speedrunning in general, and it might be obvious for some, but it's something not obvious to others. You see, if you remember me saying that this game's cursed, I never quite said why is it cursed. Here's the actual thing. This game in particular, it's like, it amplifies all the negative emotions you have. Like, no matter how big your negative emotions are, you can be like the happiest person ever running your, I don't know, doing whatever you want, or like running whatever game you want. When you get good at this game in particular, like, it just gets away somewhere. I don't know where exactly. And so, one of the main issues I had with these, let's say, newbies, so Philonaut, Martin Time, etc., is that I had to teach them how to convert this negative energy that they're getting from this game into something good, into like something that they can work with. And so, I taught a couple of people do a couple of things, and here they are. Martin Time figured out a couple of new skips. But he's suffering from something called auto-aggression now. Basically, like, that person can't play this game without hurting himself for every single mistake. Leroy, one of the most talented runners I saw on these boards, removed his runs with barely leaving any history behind. Artkiller doesn't want to run the game. Cypher, a new person that came from Nier Automata, he's a very talented person. Follow him, he's actually a very good runner. Well, he just refused to run this game anymore, from what he saw like a couple of days ago. So yeah, you see, you have to teach people not how to get world records easy and fast, explain the glitches and stuff. You have to teach people and like the newcomers to just adapt to the situations. And one boss that can learn how to adapt is this boss, called Agnes, again. So we're gonna set up him for a very quick boss kill that relies on getting both distortion and just charges in time. I didn't get it because I was busy explaining stuff, so again, this doesn't really matter that much. I don't get a good RNG in general, so yeah. So yeah, you see, I won't perceive this problem as like something that speedrunning has in general. I would blame it like on the game. It's just that very specific game that will probably never have a let's say never had a good set of runners until I spent like tons of time bringing coaching people to just get on the same level. Because as a world record holder I am, you have some sort of responsibility to guide new people into your games. And because I was a moderator of this game for quite a long time, it was like an extra responsibility that I had to bear every single time. So I have to like think about how to make my run better for the commentary perspective in general, so I can lure more people in running these games. And I also had to, let's say, figure out how to teach people how to manage your negative bullshit that can happen here and there. And it just came to my, like, idea, like, into my head that it doesn't really, like, matter. Like, there are plenty of games that were on, like, multiple GDQ and ESA runs, and they never had any, let's say, big influence of runners. So that's, like, another thing about running on marathons. You want to show your community, so by showing this run, and basically me showing this run is basically showing the community. And don't count me doomy or gloomy, whatever that thing is. I'm just telling you my perspective of how do I perceive this game, how it made me like feel through all these years. It didn't make me feel like a god gamer or like an awesome person because I held a world record that nobody cared about. I ran this game because it was interesting for me to see just how deep the rabbit hole can go. Because learning new stuff and playing these games, like DMC games in general, has a very interesting thing, like from the standpoint perspective, is that you play these games not because you want to get like the fastest clear, oh my god, the world record place. You play these games because you just like can throw the fact that you want to improve from your life. So you run the game and you learn how to play the game better, so you can have more fun from running this game. And it's something genuine that it's like a genuine positive emotion that you can feel from speedrunning, but it's also the most dangerous one, because whenever we talk about speedrunning in general, we tend to focus on the positive aspects of our games. Like, you know, this run is good because it, I don't know, it doesn't have any glitches, but the movement tech is good, so yeah, it's a good run. Or like, we just do a couple of like things like, this game has a lot of glitches, this game is fun, etc, etc. But we tend to just ignore the negative sides of our speed games. And in terms of Devil May Cry 4, as I said earlier, it's because this game differs from all other speed games that exist. It's just, it requires you a different approach, and that different approach cannot be like, this different approach cannot be set without having your without having a correct mindset. And the mindset for these games, for Devil May Cry games, is not to replicate your world record and pray that like everything works just fine, and you'll just get the. It's like the mindset of, you know, just casual, just learning the run, learning how the game works, learning how the game works, and if you don't have fun learning or like doing this kind of research with your games, I can assure you that you are probably doing something wrong. Maybe in like your life or like in speedrunning. Because, again, we tend to focus on the world records, not from the enjoyment of our run. And because like I literally have nothing else to say, I think we have plenty of time for the donations.
Oh, well, actually perfect timing, because I was just gonna tell you that right now we got a $5 donation from Black Coffee saying, loved the DMC4 run, and motivational speech right there, amazing. And I think we can agree, I think we just all find ourselves mesmerized by your speech there. I also would like to remind that as we're getting towards the end of the run soon, that right now is the right time to donate for the Jack 3 language choice bid war. That will be closing right before that run starts. So definitely get your donations in as we're getting to the end. We'll soon be reaching 22k, so let's see how soon we can reach that milestone. Thank you everyone for your donations, and let's keep going.
So yeah, what we're fighting is just a boss fight that we already saw earlier in the run, 2 times already. But this time is a little bit different because, like, you see, the frog didn't give me an optimal skill, and basically I'm just fighting the worst possible iteration of the boss. It happens. So yeah, to sum up my words in a couple of few sentences, I think that speedrunning is a pretty decent hobby. But the problem is, if you focus on the world record too much, you might ending up, well, in a situation where nobody will have fun playing the game. And if you enjoy your game too much, but you still want to push it, in terms of speedrunning, you would like want to play worse than you probably want to. So like the people would appear. So again, maybe there's like nothing wrong with that approach, but again, that's me. That's only my opinion. I might be wrong, but again, from all the games that I've run, I run Mark Echo's Getting Up, I run Devil May Cry games, I run Hitman, I run a couple of other games that are not included in my speedrun.com profile. Those same games had the very same problem that I've just literally told about. And so, you know, life can be hard in general, you see, and speedrunning is not like, trust me, speedrunning is not a good hobby if you have problems in life. Not because like something like gloomy, etc, but because of the learning that I've just talked about a lot. If you have any other problems and you can't like commit all of your time to speedrunning, like figure something out, you might be having a couple of problems in general. Or like maybe I'm just like too stupid for putting a lot of time in researching and playing. But again, as I said earlier, people like me, like a little bit of perfectionists. For us, running this game, these kinds of games, or like speedrunning in general, is like, we run the games not because we want to get world records or like something else. All we want to get is some runners to teach, some people to work with, some community stuff to start with. But it just destroys our hearts and like soul and all the meanings of it when we see that our efforts do nothing and it forces us to commit quite some stupid things, you know. So yeah, for the final act, Sanctus, we're gonna skip a phase. Because like, that's what cool guys do. So we got 2 holy waters, let's use one of them, pull the boss, and just throw them into the air, making sure he gets hit for quite a lot of times. Bam! We got it. This might be a problem, but I think it's not a problem. Die! Die! Just die! Die! Nice. Prepare for the time. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this run. If you're interested in Devil May Cry speedruns in general, there are plenty of resources to learn from. Not about this run, because I removed all the resources from the game, and as I said earlier, I do not want to be acquainted with the community anymore. So, time.
Congratulations!
What's the final time?
I have a bit of delay here, but I will be able to be 1:16 something. 1:16:44.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
do you have any final words you want to say before we move on?
Yeah, I have a couple of final words. So, you see, a lot of these things in the world come from some good music. And some good music in general has, yeah, like, you know, good songs. I grabbed this thingy a couple of days ago from, I won't say where, but I grabbed this thing on. And you know, Machine Supremacy is a pretty good band. You should listen to it probably, like once upon a time. And I would like to finish my run. Maybe it's not like my best performance, sorry about that. But I would like to finish the run with a couple of words. First of all, you don't need any kind of motivations, like to start running. You don't need a community, you don't need anyone to start doing the thing you think is important to you. What's important is the music you listen to. So, one of the, let's say, Machine Supremacy's albums called Rise of the Digital Nation had this theme of, though far apart, we are united by heart. And so, you know, what I think is we're all united by heart, by our love about speedrunning. And to perceive that love is to also generate an equal amount of bad emotions in general. So because of that, take care of yourself. Don't burn out. Crunch sucks. Life sucks. Life's horrible. But maybe one day you'll start speedrunning those things. Thank you for listening to my game. Thank you for having me. Good luck.
Alright, thank you so much for those final words. They're beautiful. Just before we move on, we got a final $25 donation from Nico PF without a comment, but that donation went towards the language choice of German for the Jack 3 100% run, and that's a final reminder that you've barely just got a couple minutes to donate if you still want to influence that bid war. With that said, we'll now be going into a short intermission, so thank you everyone, and we'll be seeing you very soon.